Hello Elden Ring fans and welcome to the PvP review for pros. We're going to talk about the essence of PvP in Elden Ring, the importance to it to me and fans, and talk about the balancing of Elden Ring and what changes could be happening or could possibly change in the future. Talking about the past game's PvP and what they relate to the new game, Elden Ring has been dying, Elden Ring has been going through changes, people are coming back, PvP's changing, PvP's horrible, PvP's bad. A lot of reviews have come through from multiple channels, multiple videos, and I want to talk about them. I want to talk about my own personal reviews of those. Every single time I have played this game, and as you're going to see, I'm going to cheese these two right here with a ballista, which is perfectly fair. They have outpoised me. But anyway, we're going to talk about the actual review. Sorry about that. Talking about the hopes of Elden Ring, we waited about 5 years from DS3. And if you were an Elden Ring fan in the beginning, and you're currently not an Elden Ring fan, or you don't know what to do with Elden Ring because it's becoming boring and stale, I understand. I completely understand. The PvP is a huge, huge community. The PvE of the game, or player versus enemy, or the regular solo play of the game, unless you summon a white or a yellow or whatever you would call it in this game, a phantom, they always have to have a balance between the two. And with this current 1.7 update, they did balance it. Not entirely, it could be better, but the balancing issues that we still have can dictate poise, hyper armor, weapon arts, parries, backstabs, status effects. I'm sure everybody knows that one, obviously, but it's a huge game. The importance of PvP is ridiculous. The fans, I know people who are still playing, and I play on one of the worst consoles apparently to play it on. I play it on Xbox, and I do play it on PS4, but I play it mostly on Xbox because that's my multiplayer console. But Xbox fans are still playing Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 2 for its PvP in 2022. They're still doing it. And that's ridiculous. If you really think about it, that game is 5 years old, and we just got a brand new Souls game that we just waited for. And why would you go back to that? Why would you go back to the old? Well, the old and the new have a lot of complicated factors. Dark Souls 3 has a lot less to offer, which means that there's less to work with, which also means there's less to fix. So if you're fixing this new game, Elden Ring, with all these problems that it has with poise, hyper armor, weapon arts, parries, backstabs, bleed, with everything that still has its own issues, Elden Ring is still a new game. It has been out for a whole year, and people like me, I get frustrated. It's been out for 8 months. It needs to get an update that fixes it. They're absolutely true. They've had multiple games to do this with. They've had Dark Souls series, Elden Ring, Sekiro, all this to balance with, but they've never meshed it together and made something as beautiful as Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a great game, and I believe that its PvP needs to be fixed. So if you like this content, stay tuned on this channel because I will be uploading multiple things on how the PvP can be changed, how to have fun with the PvP where it is now, how it's going to change. The most important thing is that Elden Ring is going to change a lot. Why? Because the community are full of certain types of gamers who like to troll people and act ridiculous and make good and bad builds, and builds that are just absolutely one-shotting you. And that still happens. And that's good. A lot of people don't think that it's good. It is a good thing. Go ahead, use magic and one-shot me and see what happens. The next update, magic is going to go completely away. Like, it's going to get bad. I'm sure it's not going to be as broken as it is right now. Which, if anybody says magic's not broken, it is. It definitely is. You can one-shot anything with magic at like a super low level. Like a 100 can absolutely destroy a almost max level character with just Comet. Just a charged Comet could almost do 1600 AR. That's insane. But enough about that. Just the factor that the game will change due to seeing and representing and showing off people's unique and strategic builds that aren't unique, but things that hit different. So during this next DLC, hopefully the PvP is meshed with the game. Hopefully we get to see that they focus more towards the PvP, and I know I'm boasting about PvP and blah, 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 but it's important to me. I'm sure it's important to most people who are probably going to watch this video. But I believe that if we get a DLC that's focused mainly on the PvP, what they will use is they will use that as a camera lens. They will watch through the glass to make sure and see what needs to be balanced. You can see in this video, I've done 1 million running attacks with a Twin Blade. This is 1.07 update. Twin Blades are insane. I'm using a heavy build, just a heavy build, because I find it fair. I don't want to do status effects, but you can see I'm taking chunks of people's health. I even kill, I think, an NPC of some ones that they summoned that had like 1,500 health. Or not 1,500 health, but about like 15,000. It was crazy. It's insane. I mean, you'll see that, like, of course, I use ballistas because they're funny, but the PvP in this game feels different from the past series, and that's in a good way, but somewhat it also feels the same. Anybody who's played Dark Souls 1 understands. In no way should there not be hyper armor before poise. Poise should always come last. So the hyper armor of a weapon, or the effective poise of a weapon, should always determine who gets to get the hit. You shouldn't be able to outpoise somebody with a straight sword when they're using an ultra, because it's a heavier weapon. It has more hyper armor than a straight sword, so it should be able to easily out hyper armor a straight sword. But with Elden Ring, that problem happens, and in like Dark Souls 3, which, oh, you're gonna hear about Dark Souls 3 because it's a good game. It is. It's actually well balanced compared to every other game in the series, and that's why I have that hope. I know that they can do it. They've done it before. They've done it multiple times. I know they can fix this. So the last update was amazing. It was compared to everything else. I couldn't fight a 5-on-1. Now I can fight a 5-on-1. I mean, I'm probably gonna die because weapon arts are still an issue, but the damage scaling and things like that, people are worried about it. It will go down. There will be fixes. People will start to flock back. Unfortunately, they didn't launch with this in mind, but I'm sure they did, but maybe they didn't have the resources or time to actually do it, which is a shame. Honestly, a lot more people would understand. But most people play for the PvE aspect. A lot of people play for the PvP. A lot. And it gets ignored by a lot of people where they're like, oh, it's only a PvE experience. That's what they're trying to make it. And I get that. But the people who stay, the hardcore fans, me, you, possibly, maybe some new people who are watching this and trying to understand what the PvP is about. I will go in explanation on more videos. But this is just a passion for people who know what I'm talking about. Poise needs to get a scale down. People love poise because they think they can wipe out everyone with it. Well, the problem is that you might be able to take on a 3-on-1 with poise, but if they all have poise that's higher than yours, you're screwed. Like you're gonna get outpoised by them, and then you have 3 dudes with chunky armor and fat boy armor with smashing hammers or just some stupid joke weapon like a tuba, and they're gonna come over there and blow a bubble at you, and you're gonna fucking die. And then what happened? Yeah, what happened to all that smart talk? But that's the thing, is like ultras are not as good. They're not as unique. Dark Souls 3, my favorite weapon in all of the Souls series is the Ultra Greatsword. It is a perfect weapon. It has a vertical slash that goes down and up, and a horizontal is its right trigger. In this game, every single colossal weapon for greatswords fights exactly the same, except for their R2s. Some of their R2s are different, but nothing combos into anything else. You're going to see backstabs that don't go through when weapon arts are almost unpunishable because you can't parry them. That's another issue, parrying. Parry frames are so low in the net. I don't know if it's the net or the parry frames, but they're kind of iffy at times. You're in danger a lot. You've seen, I'm sure, in this video that I had where I parried a dude after blocking. That was sheer, like, I know what I was doing, but it was like I got lucky because of the frames. So if you're an Elden Ring fan, if you like PvP, if you want to get into PvP, follow this channel and I will show you the way. I will show you how things can change and hopefully will change in this next patch that will come out. Hopefully. I'm hoping, I'm praying. But thank you for watching and please enjoy.